First of all, we wanted to make something that was cool and that was for a young audience as well. And we started thinking, okay, what do young people do these days? And they're all on their phones, even inside the theater. They're all Facebooking, they're all WhatsApping, they're all Twittering. So we thought, well, why instead of fighting against it, why not try and actually use the device as part of the story? And we thought about, well, what if that thing, the Siri speaking voice recognition system, what if that actually turns against you and starts to become evil? And then we started brainstorming about that, and we thought, okay, let's call the movie App and make it about an app. And then we started thinking, okay, well, then we have to develop an app as well. Actually, the technology is already in place and is already used, but it's a technology that's used for piracy purposes. So if you go to a cinema and you make an illegal copy of any big Hollywood movie, there's actually already in the sound, there's already information where that copy was shot, at what time, at what theater. So the big Hollywood studios already have that technology in place, but they never actually use that technology creatively as part of a story. So your phone actually, inside the movie theater, your phone actually listens to the sound. And then magical stuff appears on your phone during the movie. Oh, I heard about one project in Korea that they're doing. Especially the Asian market is really interested in this project, and I know they're doing something in Korea, and I know we're currently working on different remakes in certain countries, but I can't say which countries.
Okay, so it's United States.
During the writing of the script, you already start to think about a separate second screen storyline, which is pretty hard because at a certain moment you're literally trying to do two movies at the same time. And also, especially during the editing process, you sort of get confronted with the fact that your eyes can only be focused on one thing. The main goal was for the audience to be able to watch the movie as a movie without the second screen as well. That was the main goal. So we always started out just shooting the movie like any regular movie, and then during the pre-production process you already start thinking about, okay, what can be in the second screen, what certain elements of the script we can put on your phone, and then it becomes sort of throughout the film it becomes harder and harder and harder, because you sort of you start to go towards the ending of the film, and you get two separate storylines, and you really have to do picture-in-picture editing. Technology-wise, what I would love to do in the future is to have more an interactive storytelling, but that all has to do with the infrastructure that's in the theaters right now with the digital cinema projection. There's not a structure in place yet where you can have the audience really choose an ending. And that's something that I would love to do. The things that are doable is, for instance, use more GPS info, or have the app actually talk to you and say your name while you're in the theater, and sort of say it, that the app knows exactly where you are, and have it speak to you. Or have the app confront you before you even enter the theater, or if you exit the theater at 4 o'clock at night where you're asleep, that suddenly the app comes back up and sort of starts screaming at you. No, we thought about doing some sort of NSA kind of government agency or some big pharmaceutical agency, But honestly, that also had to do with the budget, that we weren't able to shoot at a big government agency. And I think at the end, what happened because of that is that you, like you said, you become a little bit more involved in the personal story. We do. And we're sort of playing with that now, but it all depends on how the movie plays internationally, because it already got released in the Netherlands, and it's now doing its international run, which is going pretty well, and it's sold to, I believe, 20 countries now. Because we all have now home cinema sets, we all have big TVs, we all have good sound systems, we all have an iPad, we all have a laptop. So in order for the theaters to attract people, they have to come up with new stuff. And I'm personally really looking forward to the day that in every city you have a theater where you can go inside the theater and the chairs are moving, and you have lighting effects, and you have wind effects, and you have smoke effects, and you have smelly effects, or you can use your second screen. I think that would be awesome if every city had one theater where you can at least go to the theater and have a big blockbuster like Transformers or I don't know, whatever, The Dark Knight, and really experience it like that, like you're inside the movie. I think that would be awesome. I mean, it sounds a little bit vague, but your creative vision, I don't think you can say, okay, you push a couple of buttons and suddenly something comes out and there's the whole movie presented to you. I don't think that, if that's the case, I'm not gonna do it. But I can imagine that someday it will happen. But I think that's the sort of directorial vision that you have. I don't want to lose that. It's a TV movie. It's going to premiere at the Dutch Film Festival, and it's a movie about an ex-hooligan dad, actually, who was in jail for a couple of years, and he gets out and he has to decide if he is going to go back into his old life as a hooligan leader, as a leader of the pack, or if he is gonna invest time in his family. And of course he gets torn between the two sides. I didn't think they were worse at the time when I was watching them, but I grew up with a lot of Jean-Claude Van Damme movies. I was a huge fan of Jean-Claude Van Damme. I literally had my whole room as a kid full with Jean-Claude Van Damme movies. And movies like Bloodsport or Universal Soldier or Lion, which were actually bad movies if you look at them now. But during the 80s, at the end of the 80s, they were really good B-action movies, or Rambo or Rambo 3. And I think for me as a director, I was really influenced by those kind of movies, or Kickboxer or something, or Double Impact. But if I watch them now, being 15, 20 years older, I watch them, it's like, oh, that's kind of cliche and that's kind of cheesy. But funny enough, they were really well made films back then, and they were really well shot in terms of just storytelling. My dream movie would be to do I think an intelligent spy thriller action movie of $100 million. That would be or more, yeah. At least $100 million, and where I can blow up a lot of stuff. That will be. So we're co-producing a romantic comedy right now, which is shooting in Amsterdam, which is going to release in April, and working on the sort of remake versions of App. right now, and I have a couple of scripts in development. I have a heist movie that I'm developing, and I have a possible remake of a Dutch film in progress. And for the rest, I'm doing commercials, selling my soul to the devil. No, TV and hip hop music. That's those are the things. TV series I'm watching Breaking Bad and stuff, and House of Cards, and hip hop music. That's that's what I grew up with, and so that's how I started out directing hip hop music videos. For me, it's very hard because my whole family is in the film industry, so I've never done really anything else except for working in the film industry. But I think if I wasn't a director, I would be an editor. I actually studied editing at the Dutch Film Academy. As an editor, you're really trying to piece everything together, and it's such a creative process as well. So I think I would be either an editor or a first AD. Somebody who runs the set. Screaming.
Okay, thank you.
Well, thank you.